Okay, guys, today we're here between rounds, but we're going to talk NFL football. The Super Bowl's coming up. I got here the world famous Eric Nicksick. How you doing, baby?
I'm doing well, man. Just got to the gym, so excited to talk to you about little football other than fighting.
Dude, isn't that funny? It's like I get all excited to talk about football because, I mean, football is a huge part of your life, right? Coming up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I was a huge fan, and I used to be a fanatic about it, and now I don't get to. But this game, a rematch of Super Bowl 49. You remember that game at all?
Oh, do I? Yeah. So you're gonna love this. I have a prop bet on Marshawn Lynch to score the
Oh,
last
beast
touchdown
mode.
of the game.
So
And
you
and
are,
so listen, this bet is like tied into like three other things. It was like the over or the team total. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm like, as a football guy, you hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch four times at least,
yeah,
and he's getting in. He's
yeah,
getting in.
he
So
is.
I'm like, this bet's a lock. I'm winning this damn bet. And then sure as shit, they run this combo route with two slants and they get jumped. And yeah, well, the rest is history.
You know what? You probably lost the bet and lost your TV that day. It probably went out the window.
It was one of those where I remember seeing the formation and I'm going, oh, they're not running the ball here. And they run a stack combination bottom, and I'm like in my head, okay, they're running double slant, or if they're smart, they're going to run the whip route. So the one cut, the cursed kid comes in on the slant, and I think Baldwin was the other guy, and the route gets jumped. There's a locket or something. I'm like, oh my God. Why the
Yeah.
hell? You got the best running back in the league at the time who's running through everybody's face, and you're going to run a combo route on the goal line where it's all condensed.
Well, especially that last drive, they just put it right down the field, and Lynch was feeling it, boy. That's one of the you hate to second guess coaches. I try never to, but
Sure.
holy cow, you got to give Beast Mode the ball on the goal
Got to
line.
give him the ball. I mean, and look, there's however millions of people in the world, and we all know that this guy should get the ball four times. And you know what? And coming being raised by a football coach, my dad would always say like sometimes you outsmart yourself, right?
Yeah,
Like just simple game for simple people. Hand the ball to the best athlete on the field at least four
yeah.
times, and I'll live and die with that.
Have you seen the video of where the Patriots are practicing against that specific play in practice? And
Yep.
every time Butler had gone under the route and was getting
Yep.
beat, and
Yep.
they practiced it specifically. He jumped it and they win the Super Bowl. So
Yeah, so it was they had Browner, they walked Browner up, and Browner was the press man to kind of scramble the eggs on that pick route. So it
yep,
was really like if you go back and watch it defensively, Browner was the one that like really set the tone to that play by jamming the lead receiver and causing all the traffic, and then Butler
yep.
just reeled right behind him and came in and jumped that route. It was beautiful,
Yeah, I
you
heard
know?
Belichick talk about that. He's like, you need to press the lead guy so the other guy has room to jump it, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. But it should have been Marshawn Lynch. I'm sorry about that. You wouldn't even be coaching anymore. You'd be on an island somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't you don't have to outsmart yourself in that situation,
Oh
man. Just
shit.
run the ball down their throat.
So what do you think about this one? How do you look at this game?
On paper, and I think when I look at everything points to Seattle for me. I think all the intangibles, offensively, defensively, especially defensively, these guys are playing with their hair on fire. They're able to get to the quarterback with a four-man rush. They don't have to really blitz a lot. They got great corners. But the one thing that I think you and I can both agree on, the one intangible that to me is the Mike Vrabel coaching element where he's getting his team to play like their hair's on fire, man. He's got these guys believing. He's a guy that's won multiple Super Bowls. And that to me is the one intangible that jumps off the page is Vrabel. He's
Yeah.
got these guys overachieving.
You know, he'll be him. He's reestablished sort of the Patriots mantra, not mantra, their style from all those great years. They never killed anybody. They always just played solid football. They're going to be there at the end. And then with 12 underneath the center, you're going to have a good chance to win every game. So in
Yep.
all their Super Bowls, they kept it close. It wasn't like they blew anybody out,
Yep.
but they just played so smart. And they remind me, they're like a throwback to those years. And then having Josh McDaniel back with them, I think I think Vrabel feels super comfortable, and the team feels like they can win any game.
And they're running, they're in a good flow state, I think, as far as their offensive play calling goes. Drake May has done a really good job of understanding when to utilize his legs to make plays or extend plays. He's playing lights out football as well. The one thing too that I think that's a little scary for me on the Patriots side is they tend to put the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
Rashawn Stevenson, he's actually a Vegas boy, played at Desert Pines. Every once in a while, man, they're putting the ball on the ground, and that could be detrimental, especially in a big game like the Super Bowl.
Well, May's got 6 fumbles in the playoffs, and lost 3 of them. So I think with that defensive pressure, Leonard Williams, just scrambling things up in the middle for Seattle. May's legs are a wild card, right? He can really change the game, but he has put the ball on the ground. Do you think that's more a product of the 2 cold weather games, or is that just one of those things?
Could be, and I think it's a young kid who's trying to make plays in a playoff situation, and obviously his first run in the playoffs, and maybe trying to overextend things or doing things that out of his comfort zone. But it's also one of those situations where you can't fault the kid, right? Like I
Yeah.
like seeing him. He's kind of a gunslinger, But in this particular game, I'm sure the coaches are really harping on him about protecting the ball, especially on those scrambles.
Well, you saw how they played against the Broncos. Like, they weren't trying to win the game. They just knew without Bo
Navigate.
Nix. Yeah, if Bo Nix isn't in there, how do they score against our defense? And
Yep.
and they were right. It put him in the Super Bowl. I just think they're going to have to. I feel like they're going to have to take a couple more chances against Seattle, and
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, because this can
not
get
play
ugly
that
quick.
conservative. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
this
could.
can get ugly quick. They can jump on them quick, and then do they have this type of offense that can come back from a 14-point deficit or something like that?
Yeah, I was thinking about Diggs, and how he's been kind of a leader. He's been kind of a not problem child, but he's been a little bit of a burr under the saddle in a couple of places, and he's been good for the Patriots. So is he a deep threat though? He hasn't played as much in the second half of the year. I don't know if that's just rotation or what. Is he still that big play threat? Do you think?
I think it's the booty kid, the kid from
Yeah,
LSU. I really
yeah,
think he's really come along, and he's been their deep threat. He goes up and attacks the football in the air. To me, I would lean on him a little bit more and make Diggs more of the underneath combination mesh routes to get the ball in his hand, 5-yard routes, 6-yard routes, and let him do the athleticism after the catch. But the Boutier, I think I'm saying his name correctly. To me,
yeah.
he's really come along mid-season, late year in the playoffs, and he's been the big playability for the Patriots.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to, especially with the Seahawks' ability to get pressure with 4, like to mess things up without blitzing, and they're in their coverages. I think it's going to be really important to get those under routes going and get some rhythm going early. Or I think that defense goes downhill and that game gets out of hand pretty quickly. At least
100%.
for the Patriots offensively, it's going to feel like, God dang, we can't do anything.
Yeah, and really for me with the Patriots is going to have to be you're going to have to be able to run the ball. You're going to have to be able to control the clock to keep an offensive explosive team like the Seahawks off the field. Limit their
That's a
possessions.
But that's a big ask for them. The Seahawks are number 1 defense in a couple of categories, and they haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher in 25 games.
Yep.
Like, to expect to have success there, I think, is a stretch for them,
Yep.
especially with kind of the line problems the Patriots have had. I mean, you're 14-3. You haven't had that many problems. You've done a good job, but fuck, that Seahawks defense. Brady was talking about how they're as good as the Legion of Boom and maybe better
Sure.
because you can't read them as easily. Do you
Yeah.
think they'll be able to run the ball?
I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball as effective as what they would probably like to do. But I think it's definitely something where you're going to have to put them in situations maybe where it's screens, draw plays,
Yeah.
ISOs, traps, things like that. And look, maybe if you're getting 2-3 yards a clip and you can get the linebackers to walk up, you're going to have a little bit more space for your mid to deeper routes or crossing patterns, things like that.
Yeah. I think obviously defense is going to be the key to this game. I don't see either team scoring a bunch. Sam Darnold's been great in the playoffs, especially the last 2 games. But I mean, I was shocked to revisit that this is his 5th NFL team. 5th. Isn't that nuts? And it's
And
his
he's so
first
young.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, and
First
he's actually really
first year
young.
with the Seahawks.
Crazy.
His reputation of making mistakes. He had the most turnovers of any quarterback in the regular season. 14 interceptions, 6 fumbles. So I think not making mistakes is going to be a huge key in this thing. Like
Yeah.
especially with May and Darnold against each other. If either one of those guys puts a couple on the ground, it could make a difference quick.
Agreed, agreed, and it's such a nice backstory too when you see a guy who finally gets into a scheme that fits his style and he's
Yeah.
able to go out and succeed. Like I always love seeing those stories of, oh, this guy's a bust. He was a second pick in the NFL draft, and as well as you and I both know, man, it's a lot similar to MMA, like a fighter getting into a good gym that fits his style or fits his scheme, and then kind of that
Yes.
renaissance for him.
Yeah. Mike McDonald, what's his second year as a coach? Boy, he's coached those boys up. They really play hard for him. One thing I wanted to ask you about, how is it that he's a second year coach with a first year quarterback, and then Vrabel's a first year coach with a second year quarterback, and they're having such success? That speaks volumes about those guys being able to implement a culture there.
And so fast, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I got to talk to Jay Harbaugh. Jay Harbaugh called me. It was during their preseason, and this is something I love now. You and I both are good friends with Joe Mazzulla. These coaches that are crossing over and picking up the phone and calling other coaches, although we're not in the same demographic. And I talked to
Yeah.
Jay Harbaugh for like an hour, and we were just going over like weight room culture and this and this and that. So I got to reach out to him and give him a congrats before, I'm sure their week's pretty busy, but just hearing him at the beginning of the season and what they were trying to implement into the locker room, to me, kind of being a fly on the wall and hearing their vision, it's pretty cool to see now that they're sitting here in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you and I are both huge fans of coaches. Love to see it go good. And just for me, it's amazing that it happened so fast for both of
Me
those
too.
guys. I mean, the
Yep.
Patriots turned around from 2-4-13 seasons to be 14-3 and in the Super Bowl. That friggin' Vrabel, man, like, got to be coach of the year, right? For sure.
Has to be. Has to be.
Yeah, I mean, just an amazing turnaround. So, we both think the defenses are going to be great. It's going to be hard to move the ball. Who's your pick for this game? How do you see it going?
Everything points to the Seahawks for me. And obviously we talked about the one coaching intangible with Vrabel, but he can't suit up, man. He's not going to
Yeah.
be the guy. The thing that I feel like, if the Seahawks can get ahead, I just don't see how the Patriots can get back into the game if the Seahawks jump out. Now, if the roles are reversed, I feel like the Seahawks can easily get back into a game if they're down 14-10 or
Yeah.
21-10 or something like that. They have the offensive firepower to do it. So for me, all signs, I think the Seahawks win this game, and I actually think they cover the spread as well. I lean for whatever reason. This has always been my play. I've always bet first half under,
Yeah.
just because they come out a little jittery, maybe a couple punts here and there, and next thing you know, they're in the second quarter. And the first half under for me has always been my play. But I definitely see the scoring maybe pick up in the second half, but I think the Seahawks run away with it.
Yeah, I think unless the Seahawks unless Darnold does what people say he used to do, I think they handle it fairly easily. I think New England's best bet is to keep it close to the vest, keep it a close game, and then when it comes down to the wire, make a couple of plays. But I'm with you on that, Coach. I got the Seahawks. I got the under both of them. I don't really
Yeah.
see anybody running away. The Patriots have that good corner. I think they really try to take away JSN. And I think that helps Cooper Kupp have a better game. But I do think it's kind of tight to the vest. I like that first half under. I'm going to remember that, Coach. That's
Yeah.
a good play.
What are some of like the prop bets you like to play? Like some fun stuff you like to watch in the Super Bowl?
For me, it's always been like I hear about them and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, hear you talk about that. I never thought
Yeah.
about it. But I think it would have to be all unders. It would have to be all defense. I do think Jackson Smith and Jigba is a monster. He went 10 for 153 in the championship game
Unreal.
against the team that I thought would be the Super Bowl champion, And so I think it all just depends on, for me, it's all the quarterback play.
Yeah.
if they can rattle May early, I think it gets to be out of hand. And if Darnold has a couple of bad plays, we'll see if he's got, he's come back and he's had great games, so we'll see if he keeps it going.
Yeah,
So
and I like their trust in the guy because he's not necessarily this Trent Dilfer game manager style. This guy could push the
that's
ball
true.
down the field and make plays, So I don't think you really want to harness this kid. I think you keep the offense the way you're running things, and like you said, JSN has been a huge, huge, unbelievable asset to this team, and way to show faith in a guy who's been in your system for 3 or 4 years now, and getting rid of
Yeah.
DK Metcalf and all these other guys to clear room for this kid. And they really struck gold with him. So I think lean on those
Yeah.
guys that got you there.
Well, you got me thinking it might be a little higher scoring in the second half if Seattle gets going, but I feel like Vrabel and those guys are going to coach them up. The Patriots don't have this Seattle defense, but they have a really good defense, top five.
Yeah,
And I think it's going to be a slugfest. I think there's going to be some bloody noses, and it's going to be really fun to watch. So we both got the Seahawks.
both got the Seahawks.
So now I got a couple of questions for you. So Vrabel would be only the second coach in history to win a Super Bowl with a franchise and and then win as a coach. Who's the other one?
Good question. Let me think here. I got to say, would Dungy,
It's an old school one. Old school, even more old school. But
even
Dungy
more
did
old
it.
school,
Dungy was with the Steelers when he won the Super Bowl, and then he won with the Buccaneers,
the
right?
Colts.
Yeah, the
The
Colts. Yeah,
Colts.
that's right.
So it would be the same team.
Same team as a player and as a coach.
Art Shell.
So the right team, wrong guy.
Right team, wrong guy. Okay, now you got me thinking. Would it be Madden?
It is Tom Flores.
Tom Flores, come on.
Yeah,
I can see the
yeah,
guy's face, and now man, I almost said Plunkett, but I know he wasn't coaching. Tom Flores,
yeah.
all right.
And Tom Flores was part of that first AFC team to win the Super Bowl in '67, and then had two Super Bowl champs. But I
With
thought
the
that was
Raiders.
cool. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know that, and I looked up
Yeah.
because I was thinking about Vrabel playing there and then bringing back the culture. All right, so now who's your greatest team ever? Greatest Super Bowl? They don't have to be Super Bowl champion. Best team of all time in the NFL.
Man, I loved that 2000 Raiders team or Ravens team.
Oh
Was
yeah,
it 2000?
I think it was.
And yeah, it was, man.
Ray Lewis and
Yep.
Ed Reed just playing their asses off.
Yep. Peter Bolware. You had Chris McAllister at corner. U of
Yeah,
A boy. Man, I just who else? You had Suggs, ASU kid. They had just, man, that defense was something else. Now, I think you can make an argument for a more fast-paced offense team, like the guys that could put up the points. But I was always a big fan of the defensive side of the ball. I loved the Buccaneers team when they had Derek Brooks and Rondé Barber and that crew, Warren Sapp. So I lean towards that defensive side of the football and those Super Bowl teams because they can slow anybody down, man, and they can stop guys. So
yeah,
I like those
yeah.
guys.
How do they compare with the Bears from '85?
To me, I think it's stylistically the Ravens team feels a little bit more similar to that Bears team when you talk about like a Goose, the guy in the middle. So what was it? What was his
Tony
name?
Siragusa.
Tony Saragusa and a
Yep.
William Perry, a guy who can get in the middle and scramble the eggs, and kind of control that A gap. They're very similar in that regards. You can even kind of lean on that with the Warren Sapp style, but he was more of a B gap player.
Yeah,
Yeah, to me, man, I think those guys with like Mike Singletary, Roman at Mike linebacker, very similar to Ray Lewis as well.
that's great, man. I love those teams. I love defense. So like I'm giving the Boz a shout out wearing my
Yeah,
only
I love
Seattle
that.
jersey. But I love defenses. I love linebackers. So both of those teams just shut people down like that. I think both teams would have had a goose egg except for an interception or a special team something that happened.
Sure.
Right? So they're
Yeah.
still mad. I think both those teams want to hurt
Oh yeah.
the other side of the
Pissed.
ball still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
It's a
coach,
different era of football, man. I miss those guys. I miss watching that type of football for sure.
yeah, I do too. They're just, man, they hit you so hard you didn't even want to come across the middle ever again in your life.
It's crazy seeing these little ass receivers running these slants across the middle this day and age. I'm like, God damn it, man! And in the late '90s, your ass was decapitated.
Yeah, one of my favorite little highlights is Ocho Cinco trying to block Ray Lewis on a crackback, and he goes to the sidelines. He goes, "I tried to hit Ray. I tried to hit Ray, but he killed me."
Why would you do that?
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time, man. It's fun talking football with you. Good luck this weekend at CFFC, and
You too,
keep
brother.
doing it. A role
You
model
too,
for me.
brother.
I always love talking to you.
You as well, coach. Thanks for always being there for me.